time we saw you, you did something quite bizarre. Can we go to the videotape? Very nice. And it wasn't just because it was a hot day. I think...
Yeah, I know why.
I think I actually asked you what we were going to look forward to.
That's a big introduction. Or something like... I think you actually asked...
I asked you what we were going to hear on the album, and you said, well, it goes something like this.
Or what has America affected us, I think you may have asked.
So, yeah, I may have asked you.
Then he came out of the pool and he said, America hasn't affected us.
No, hardly at all. Welcome back. You had a terrific introduction back to Australia.
Yeah, it was a big welcome.
You got literally off the plane and went to the Sydney Entertainment Centre where Aerosmith were playing. And tell us what happened, because it's a terrific story.
We're just sitting there like lost souls, thinking that no one loved us and no one missed us. And Steve Tyler yells out of the thing. He says, "What do you Australians got in the water over here?" He said, "First you got AC/DC, and then Midnight Oil, and now Kings of the Sun." And we went backstage and we met him, and he said, "Come back to my dressing room." And he took us back to his dressing room and put his tape player on came our song, and he said he loved the album and loved the band, and it was a big thrill for us, you know, to get that from a guy like that who's been through it all, and to say he liked us, it was that little notch in our belt for us.
And apparently they play the full Frontal Attack album before they go on stage.
Yeah, before he goes, I was listening to it before I went on, you know, he had it all there, and he knew the words, and he was doing a little show for us after his 2 hours on stage or whatever, and he did a little show for us.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Good that you can give something back to somebody, because I remember having those records like Toys in the Attic and Get Your Wings in 75 or 76 they come out, and I remember buying them through an import store, and they just cost me a fortune, you know. I was still going to school. And I used to love it. I never ever, you know, just imagine that one day, you know, the guy would dig one of our songs. You know.
Yeah, which is great to hear.
The guys from Motley Crue have also said wonderful things about it.
Yeah, we get all the bands like us, just need a few fans now.
Well, the reviewers like you said, Clinton Walker in Rolling Stone magazine's given you 3 stars.
Yeah,
and
that's great. That was really good.
One of the best hard rock.
Penthouse pets with hairs on their chests.
So what do you mean? What did you say exactly?
Penthouse pets with hair on their chests.
Yeah. How do you feel about reading reviews and all that sort of stuff?
Oh, that doesn't worry. You know, I just.
You go mad if you read them.
What really depresses me is that these days, for people reviewing records, and they review records, they knock records, they knock things. But you know, there's never been the perfect record. You know, there's always bad songs in every record. And I'm not saying there's bad songs in our record. All songs in our record are great, but you know, they expect an album to be perfection or whatever, or to their taste anyway.
Yeah. What do you mean when you say you've got it all under control? The fans, well, you need the fans now. What do you mean?
In Australia, I mean, you know, because for you know Steve Tyler to come and say over the thing, well, Kings of the Sun are a great band. For them to hear it was good for Australia to hear that.
Well, if you go and live in the States, then you've got to expect that it's going to take a while for the...
Of course, yeah, of course.
So, yeah, well, that's right.
There's your fan now, a little bit of footage of Steve and the gang.
He's a mover, isn't he?
He's a mover and a shaker, as our Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, do you look to any of these bands like Aerosmith as sort of inspiration?
Oh, we always have, you know. We've always looked to bands who have been really big. We've never been an underground band. We never thought ourselves of alternative or anything. We've always looked at bands like AC/DC and, you know, the Stones, and Aerosmith is like, that's where we want to be, you know. So to hear it from him was pretty great.
You're playing some live shows in Australia. We'll run through the dates shortly, but what's been happening in the States for you?
Well, we just come off 2 weeks. We did that Bruce Dickinson tour. I think it was just before we went on it when we spoke to you, and we went round. We toured all over the States and went down to Mexico and Cabo Wabo, Van Halen's club. We played down there.
How's that?
It was outrageous.
Was it crazy?
Crazy. They flew us down to there, and we flew from New York to Mexico to Cleveland. It was like Spinal Tap all over again.
Sounds all very exotic. Is it lots of fun? Are you enjoying all
that? It's great fun. The 2 of us.
Yeah, that's the trouble. The band's never concentrated on one area. You know, we've always moved around too much.
But you have to in the States, don't you? Yeah. It's such a huge place.
We've done it like completely different to any band that I know of, and like we can't. That's what the worst part about it is we can't compare ourselves with anyone. Like, you know, we don't have any role models to follow. But you know, as I say, and going to the States because the record company sort of had the money, and we had to do everything we had to do over there. And the worst part about it is a lot of bands come from Australia and they go over to America or Europe, and then they can come back because they have like a lucrative career here, but we never had that. So we haven't been able to come back, make some money and go again. We have to stay there, you know. So, you know,
not too much American hamburgers.
You guys are incredibly well connected over in the States. You've got Madonna's manager, Freddy DeMann, looking up to you. How good is it to have someone with that amount of clout?
Well, if we, you know, ever in need of makeup or like stage costume, we go straight to her.
Bra tops or something like that. No, I mean, seriously.
No, it's good, you know, just to even say it. You know, people love word of mouth over there. They love the big name or whatever. But for that, if they say mention the same breath as Madonna, well, that's okay. Even though we're nowhere near as successful as her. But, you know, to say that we have the same manager is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it must be. The LA scene is kind of weird, isn't it?
Oh, it's weird. It's
Do you go kind of crazy?
I mean, Tim out, mate. He's just, he said he had to come back.
You've come back for a tour and for Christmas, obviously, but, you know, do you
Just
go
the
bonkers
diet-
over there?
Just the diet of highways and hamburgers and cable and, you know, just too much. I started, because we lived out in Malibu on PCH, it's like a big main coastal road, and like just cars just don't stop all the way through.
What's PCI, Pacific Coast Highway?
Pacific Coast Highway, yeah, it's like a, yeah.
I know that.
It's unbelievable. I just started having, you know, like, as I said, I went to Katoomba on the weekend to see if Australia was still there.
Yeah.
Because I was having these nightmares over there, because we come from Queensland, and in Toowoomba, we used to live in this little town 800 mile outside of Toowoomba, and I used to, you know, it was the last sacred place in my mind, you know, where we grew up, and I used to have the drums out in the field and everything, and
Is it still
I
there?
kept having these nightmares, dreams, like there were freeways put through it, and you know, hamburger joints sprouting up out there.
Well, you're going to get a chance to see if...
The same recurring nightmare, and I just thought it was just it. I've got to go home. We just couldn't stand it any longer.
Well, it's nice to have you back here. You're going to get a chance to see a bit of Australia, playing half a dozen shows around the country. I'm sure there'll be more as we get on. But you're playing the Palace in Melbourne, also Sandown Park in Melbourne, the Beanley Tavern in Brizzy, the Playroom in the Gold